Another yoga mobility flow. We're gonna start in a wide stance for this one. I'm gonna push my hips forward, reach overhead, a little bit of a back bend. Then I'm gonna reach overhead again as I send my hips back. Feel the weight into your heels. We'll bend, walk the hands behind each heel. Slowly come up, one vertebrae at a time. Keeping the knees straight, we're gonna rotate each way as much as we can through the shoulders. Return to neutral, hands overhead again, big extension through the hips and the lumbar. Fold forward, weight goes into the heels, butt goes back, all the way down, hands behind the heels. This is rep 2 of 3 for this movement. All the way up, one vertebrae at a time, let yourself move, rotate, and rotate. It's big that we feel this through our ribs and our hips. We're not bending through the knees and letting the heels escape the ground. Overhead for a big back bend one last time. Hips go back, hands overhead, create length in your spine. Touch the floor. Walk behind each heel. Come back up. Last time rotating. Big hip mobility and big hip rotation here. Take a second, just feel out those range of motions. We'll walk our feet forward, bring the knees back into a tabletop. Then we're gonna get into our cat-cow. So I'm gonna exhale, look up to the ceiling, arch my back, then tuck my chin around my back. I'm thinking this happening at 2 distinct positions, in between my shoulder blades and my lower back. From the tabletop position, we'll step back, walk our hands across, and then we're into the pigeon. Should feel this on the outside of my butt cheek, the glutes. And we're just taking 3 big breaths here. Push the hip to the ground. You'll end up in a 90-90. I just turned so I can face the camera a little better. Still in our 90-90 position. Chest up, lean forward. Backhand threads through, and I'm creating rotation. Breathing into it all the way. So I'm inhaling into my belly button, diaphragm. Then I'm exhaling and see if I can get any more rotation. Sit up tall, shoulders square to the back shin. I'm gonna lead with my back knee opening as I transition to the other side, keeping the knees as far apart from each other as possible. And we'll repeat. Chest up, lean forward, thread and rotate, breathe. Take your time here, try and expand the rotational range of motion. Sitting up tall, best dining room posture, square the shoulders to the back shin. Then lead with that back knee, keeping the knees as wide as possible. We'll go through this a couple more times. Leaning forward, reach back and through. I'm gazing past my fingertips on the right hand this time. Then I sit up tall, rotate, work on that internal rotation. Lead with the knee, opening up. Important thing to know here, if this gets really crunchy in your hips and it starts to hurt, you need to walk your heels away from your hips a little more, create a little more room for your hips to rotate, okay? So we're on our 3rd rep, or end of our 2nd rep. Sit up tall, lead with the back heel. Again, this is where the heel going away from your butt could be helpful rather than pinching in and up there. Okay, last time, leaning forward, threading the needle, reaching through, breathing all the way. Big inhale as I sit up tall. Exhale as I square to the back shin. And transition to the other side, leaning forward, threading the needle. Creating a lot of rotation through the shoulder blades, a little bit through the hips. This is great for the hip health. This is great to breathe into. Shoulder square to the back shin. Open the back knee, and we're back. Okay, a little bit of a transition here. We come back into our pigeon. And then we're gonna go down dog to the other side. We're gonna catch that pigeon on that side. So this is my right leg up, and I sit back to my butt, and we'll transition again into the pigeon. Breathe here, inhale, Exhale, let that left hip try and touch the heel as we hang out here. Fold the hip under. Then we're gonna sit to our hips this time, and instead of doing the 90-90 series, we'll sweep our feet all the way forward. Hands go stacked underneath the shoulder blade. Hips come up, and now we're into crab reaches where my hands go overhead. I'm extending my hips as best I can. I know it's not a whole lot, so I'm squeezing my butt, trying to get my hips up in the air. Reaching opposite arm over opposite shoulder. Pushing and extending. These back bends are especially good for us combat athletes as we spend so much time in a forward fold and flexion. Straighten out the legs, sit posture up tall, slowly lay back, and we're gonna end here. Just deep belly breathing.